okay? Is it loud enough? Okay, good. So, welcome. And it's interesting, yesterday morning I felt, yes, I'm with all my companions. And after our journey together, I feel this morning I'm with all my friends and family. And you can feel how, I always feel that when we have the same intention, it's like vibrationally we find each other and come together. So thank you. And it was also lovely to see how yesterday we had the meditation session in the morning and focused on, and Sister Genti used the term soul consciousness and the importance of going within to release our inner treasures. And it was lovely to see how that was reinforced through the whole day yesterday, the importance of the connection between the inner and the outer, the personal and the systemic, and what is a real force for change. And so now we're here to think about another step in the journey, because it's so important that we can keep that consciousness alive in us and be it. Meditation is not just something, getting a bit of a cold. Meditation is not something that you just do 20 minutes a day or an hour a day. It's actually a way of life. And so I'm just seeing that for us to emerge that consciousness as much as possible, make it as natural as possible, we actually need a lot of inner strength. Otherwise, you know what happens and how we get influenced, and in particular, how we can be manipulated in different ways by other people's emotions and attitudes. And sometimes I've seen that it's like, say if somebody's negative towards you, angry or insulting, ever experienced that? Then they expect a certain reaction from you, right? And so I feel like they're writing a script and I play it. I oblige. But then what about my script? What do I want to do? And so this is where soul consciousness helps us tremendously, because actually in the realm of the soul, when you're soul conscious, you're actually in another state of consciousness, in another dimension of consciousness, which is actually beyond the influence of space and time, which is very interesting. And that's why this practice of being a soul and giving actually brings huge transformation in our lives. But yes, in order to maintain that, we do need inner strength, a lot of strength, especially in the world we live in today. And so this is where the second step of Raj Yoga meditation comes in, and this is what we practice, and just an offering to you, of course. Raja means the highest, the king, the sovereign. So being the sovereign of the self, but connecting with a source of power that can give us strength. And the first step of soul consciousness is so important because it helps us to come to the level of vibration with which we can connect with that source that is of a very high vibration. And whether you say God, whether you say goodness, whether you say unlimited consciousness, but a source that is greater than myself, that can give me the strength that I need. Because when I'm feeling weak, yes, I can get strength from another human being and encouragement for a while, but eventually we can become dependent on each other, and then I'm no longer taking the strength that I need. I'm actually losing that strength. And so I need strength from a source that is so pure and so powerful that it will not actually make me dependent, but totally empower me to release my qualities, empower my qualities, and enable me to become an instrument to use these qualities in the world. Because this is absolutely what the world needs right now. And when you look at, of course not all human beings, but in so many human beings there are thoughts of anger, of frustration, of violence. You know, even to have critical thoughts towards others is actually a form of violence. Now, I'm talking to myself, as I said yesterday, I'm not totally free, but I'm able to see them and say, okay, hold on, no, revert back to where you want to be and not stay in that vibration. Because even if you look at what's happening, well, between human beings, the state of war, which is, we could never have imagined a year ago. Where are we? Yeah, a year ago we wouldn't have thought it. But even if you look at the environment and you see how there are many natural calamities happening now, floods, huge floods in Kenya at the moment. It's my sister's very, of course, aware of. Where's my sister Esther? There you are. But it's as if nature itself can't hold the violence of the consciousness of human beings any longer. So there is such a deep connection between what's going on within and what's happening externally, which is why it's so important to connect and to take that power from a higher power, or whatever name, as I say, you wish to give. And you will say to me then, well, how do you do that? Some of you do it, of course, I know, I'm aware. But the nature of that power or that being, call a greater being, that being, just like I, the soul, am light, spiritual energy, and in my original form I am pure spiritual energy, pure light. Nothing polluting the soul. But of course over time we've become polluted in our consciousness, as we know and experience. But the supreme or the higher power, the divine, never ever gets polluted. And just as well for all of us. Or that being wouldn't be that being. Eternally pure. The soul itself, immortal and eternal. That being, immortal and eternal. Well, you can't even say immortal because we come into our bodies, so we have the concept of mortality. God is, of course, beyond. So eternal, eternally. And the relationship that we have is also an eternal relationship. And like so many things, like the awareness of soul consciousness, and I think somebody said it yesterday, it's more about remembering. Someone said it? You know, we think we're learning, of course, but what we're doing is really awakening or reawakening the memory of that consciousness and that connection. And so, an unlimited source of light, of love, of truth, of peace, of bliss, of power. And if we can draw on that source, then it means that many things can shift inside, and I begin to have the clarity to see what it is that I need to do in this world. I can't just do it on my own, and that's something I've had to learn. I thought I could do everything on my own, and when I was a little girl, my mother told me that when I was little, when I was 18 months or whatever, the first phrase I used was, by myself, by myself. But I've learned in life, yes, we need the good company around us and the support of those who are working in the same way and share those values. But I've also now understood that if I want to do what really is my purpose, I need that connection. And it's just like we say the soul is a point of light. And then that energy from the source, the point source, as we said yesterday, flows through the body, which makes the organs work and so on. So that being or that divine is also an essence, a point, form. I know it seems unusual to say form, but it's so that we can connect very accurately, very clearly. But that source, as we connect, we discover the vastness within the point. Right? Okay, let us meditate on this and experience. So comfortably, sit comfortably, your feet on the floor. First, I remember who I am. I bring all my awareness gently, gradually, towards the light in the center of my forehead. The light that is I, the being. I, the soul, the spirit. And I remember that my original nature is peace. I go into the depth of peace. So that my mind is no longer connected with the external. My mind is like calm, still water. Not a single ripple. I am a being of peace. And this awareness, I take my consciousness beyond. Beyond this physical dimension. I'm seated here, but it's as if I'm far, far away. In a place of light. In a place of peace. And it's here that I can connect. Connect with the source of all being. With the source of truth. I, the soul, the light. Touch the light of the divine. As I do so, I find myself in an ocean of peace. So deep, so cleansing. I'm filled with the depth of peace. And I begin to experience the unlimited love of the divine. a love that has no boundaries, a love that is healing, I feel that ocean of love and the waves of the ocean washing away so many negativities stored in the soul. Being absorbed in love. Returns me to my state of wholeness. This is a love of total understanding and compassion. For every being on this planet. And in this love, there is joy. The joy, the happiness that is beyond the senses. The joy of being who I am, in a state of truth. And the joy of being connected to the source that gives me strength. Purifies me and heals me. And having filled myself, gradually, gently, I return to this physical dimension, to the awareness of my body and the room. Thank you. So beautiful to have that possibility to go beyond and to connect. Sister Genti used the phrase yesterday, which I love very much: inwards, upwards, outwards. And so, in this vibration, how can I really serve the world? And we do bear a responsibility to serve, and to serve at the most elevated level, actually. We serve physically and in the work that we do, and that must continue. But there's a big difference in doing it in a state of, as we heard yesterday, frustration, or I have to get this done, or righteous anger, etc., and being empowered by love, and doing it in that state of soul consciousness. And the ripple effects then of my actions are much, much greater. And we look at the state of the world and we can't say that that's God's responsibility. I actually had the opportunity to go to Ukraine just a couple of months into the war with a group of religious leaders. We went to be with the people, not to take sides, or just to be with them. And people were very touched. But when I came back, I was interviewed, and someone asked me, the guy asked me, well, where is God in all this? And I said, well, it's a good question, but where is humanity in all this? What have we done to bring ourselves to this point of war? And that applies not just to Ukraine, but of course wherever there's conflict. And that's why it's so important to understand this dimension of service for the world. Because we can carry on, I feel my voice going, sorry, it's okay. We can carry on serving, and then, as I shared yesterday, we can get very depleted. But I need to keep drawing on that source so that the service has that unlimited dimension and impact. So again, I'm not doing it alone. I am with the companion of that higher being, companionship of the higher being. So in these few minutes that are left, let us share another meditation to serve our world. Excuse me. They anticipated something by giving me 2 glasses of water this morning. Thank you. So again, let me go within, bring myself to that state of peace. I become soul conscious, aware of I, the being, in the center of the forehead, the light, the beautiful light. peaceful light that I am. And in that state of peace, I take my consciousness beyond to that place of silence, of light. Where I can connect with the source. The source of peace. The source of love. The source of truth. Source of power, of bliss. I become lost, absorbed in the ocean of divine love. Such a pure, unlimited love, unconditional love. My consciousness is filled with divine peace, divine love. And in this elevated awareness, I become an instrument, a channel for that divine love and peace to reach our world. Consciously allow the vibrations of peace, the vibrations of love to reach out far and wide. Those vibrations reach every human soul, touching human hearts, bringing solace, surrounding our earth, with God's light and love. Every creature on the planet, every element of nature, needs the transformative power of light and love. As I send out these vibrations, they become stronger and stronger. I may never know who or where they have touched, but I have the faith that this is the task and the service that humanity needs and the earth needs at this time. Gradually, let me return to this dimension, to my body, to the room. Let me sit in the center of the forehead again, aware of who I am and aware of my task.